Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I have a very special guest with me. It's Phil, also known as ghostvariantcollector on Instagram. It's a pleasure to have you here, Phil. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, me too. So today's topic is Black Sabbath, which has been like the talk of the town recently, with the Back to the Beginning concert and everything. And of course, 2 days ago we lost Ozzy Osbourne, so that's very sad. I even thought about changing the subject of this video to dedicate it to the Ozzy era, but we had decided between the two of us to do the Tony Martin stuff. So I stuck with it, and that's what we are doing today. And the albums we're covering today is Eternal Idol, Headless Cross, and TYR, or TYR, or however you say it. I think Tony Martin said it's pronounced like TYR or something. I should know this because I'm Scandinavian, but yeah, I've never heard that word before, seeing it on the album cover. So those are the three albums. Both me and Phil talked before, and we both agreed like Forbidden is not like an album we would want to talk about because it's Forbidden. Everybody knows that album is not very good. I also don't like Cross Purposes that much. I don't know what you think about that album, but I don't really have much to say about that one.
I really like it, to be honest.
You like it? Okay.
I like it, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
think
it's very different from Headless Cross and Tear, and also Eternal Idol. It's much more heavier sound, and also it had Geezer Butler back on bass.
Exactly.
Because he rejoined with Dio on the Dehumanizer album. But yeah, so I'm gonna let you start off with Eternal Idol. So two of your favorite tracks. You can start off with that, then I go with my favorites, and then we can go least favorites and then honorable mentions. So you can start.
Okay. I think to pick out two is quite hard because it's not my favorite Tony Martin album. So I'm gonna go for 2.5, 3, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
I really like the opening track, The Shining. I think it's a great way to start the album, to introduce a new singer. But the only thing that I feel that is a bit not of a surprise is that Tony Martin is still not at his comfort zone peak, and he sounds very much like Dio in this album, and especially on that track. Nevertheless, it's a great opener. It's got great melodies, and I love the guitar work there. Right away, I would say Glory Ride is a song that I also enjoy a lot. Yeah. And I like the darkness of the title track, Eternal Idol.
That one is so good.
Yeah. So those are the three that it's quite difficult to choose two, but those three are tracks that for me stand out. We could say yes, they are for me the best tracks on that album. And when they pop up, generally on digital music, I'll go back to them. And on physical format, I'll just play the album again. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, very nice. Good picks. So yeah, I'm gonna choose two tracks. I'm gonna stick to the rules.
Okay.
So here I have the CD, first of all. This has the Ray Gillan version also on disc 2. I really like yeah, you have it too. Very nice. I really like the Ray Gillan version. I prefer the Tony Martin version because it's more polished, but the Ray Gillan version is like a demo. But basically, they did the album, they recorded most of it, and then they brought in Tony Martin, and they basically told him like, don't change anything, just copy like what Ray Gillan did, but in your own voice, of course. And so that's what he did. He only had like a week to do it, I think.
Yeah.
I watched some interviews to prepare for this, and I think he said he had like a week to record, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't have time to like rewrite to his own style or anything. So, and we're gonna talk about Headless Cross later, but that's the album where he really had to show his stamp on it, put his stamp on it. So yeah, the first track I'm gonna choose from this album is Ancient Warrior. I really, really, really like that song. I really like the keyboard intro, and then Tony's riff, like it's super cool. And then the drums come in, and it's just so heavy. And I really think this song and Tony Martin's vocal delivery really reflects what he did later with Sabbath.
Yeah.
So I really, really like this song. I also have the record here.
Nice.
This is the recent record store day with on the red.
The red vinyl.
Yeah, super cool. Did you get this one, or did you
I don't.
not get it
I
because you
just
don't like it that much?
no. I actually have the original press. So I
Ah,
had that. I had that in my hands, and I said, okay, yeah, it's not my favorite. I have the original, so I'll just stick with that one. Yeah.
and the original press of that one is kind of expensive nowadays, but it's
True.
way cheaper than Headless Cross or TYR
Yes.
or the later albums like Cross Purposes and Forbidden are super expensive. The original presses.
Those I don't have original. No.
Yeah, those are crazy. But yeah, really, really like Ancient Warrior, like the chorus. He's the king of all kings and all that. I think it's like super catchy. So that's one of my favorites. And I'll have to say, Eternal Idol is incredible. That track is just wow. Yeah, it's like the epic of the album. And yeah, I think it's super, super cool. And Tony Martin really like screams there, like when he says sinners, that part of the track. It's so, so cool. And that also reflects like what he did later on Headless Cross, that kind of screaming voice. So those are my two favorites. Really, really nice album. I'm gonna hand it over to you for your least favorite on Eternal Idol.
I mean, I would have to say probably I would go for. I mean, it's not a bad track. I don't think it's a bad album. But if we're being really picky here, I feel Born to Lose.
I agree. That was my that was my pick too.
I think Born to Lose leaves a bit of the. I mean, okay, we got to get very specific here, but first of all, I don't think this album represents a typical classic Sabbath sound. I mean, neither does the previous one, which is 7 Star.
7 Star.
Yeah. But I think it's also an album that reflects a bit of the sign of the times in towards the end of the 80s. And I think this track goes more into that direction, to more of a hard rock, very fast tempo song that I could picture those members of Black Sabbath at the moment riding a motorcycle through the highway. And that is not what Black Sabbath really represents, or that I have this image of them when I listen to the song. It's, as I say, it's not a bad song, but I feel that it really doesn't fit in there. And I think maybe it's on purpose that it's the fifth track. I don't know. Is it a filler? It's a good question. But I really don't feel that it connects well with the other great songs. Like if you compare it to what we spoke about, Eternal Idol, it really is a whole different animal of a song there. Yeah, so that's my least favorite.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And yeah, I don't have a lot more to add. I 100% agree with you. I think it's kind of generic sounding.
Yes.
Born to Lose. And as you said, it could be like a rock track in the like late 80s by anybody. So I don't think it sticks out. Like you said, Eternal Idol is way different. I think even all the things on side one is way different to Born to Lose. So yeah, I don't like that one either. So that's also my pick. So yeah, let's hear your honorable mention.
Then I would have to agree with you on Ancient Warrior. I think that that's a song as well that I feel it could be in the. Yeah, it's always difficult to choose two. It's always so. If you would have told me four, then that would have been definitely in there. I agree with you. The start, the drumming. I mean, you've got Eric Singer, you know,
Mm-hmm.
as a drummer, who's fantastic. I don't know if he was the correct drummer for Sabbath, but he does a great job on this album. And I think that song is a song that connects well with the first track. It gives more hope of what comes next. And it is a standout, but if you put me against the wall and then you made me pick, then this is a hidden gem for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's a great track. That was like one of the first tracks I heard from this album that really stuck out to me and that I instantly liked. So I really like
Yeah.
Ancient Warrior. My honorable mention would be Glory Ride.
Okay.
I really like that track. And I think the chorus is very catchy, like let's take a chance, that part.
Oh yeah.
As the skies will burn tonight. I think, and he really um not like screams in the regular way, but his vocal delivery in that part I really like. And
Mm.
yeah, I think it's really cool. So yeah, Glory Ride is absolutely amazing. What do you think of the instrumental on this album, like the Scarlet Pimpernel?
Yeah,
Like
I'm not.
I think it's kind of like a filler. I don't
It's
know.
definitely a filler. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
definitely. I think
unnecessary.
totally unnecessary.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean even skippable.
yeah,
No, no, not wanting to be rude, but yeah, it's something that doesn't catch my attention, and there's definitely no need for it.
yeah. And it's kind of the same thing with the Gates of Hell on Headless Cross. Like it's
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I think it creates a really cool atmosphere
Yes.
for the title
Yes.
track. I really like that part, but I think it should have been at the beginning of Headless Cross. But that would kind of mess with the radio edits and how they would do like the videos.
Yeah.
It would be very long. That track is
Exactly.
already very long, but I think they could have cut up the Gates of Hell and put a very short version of that in the beginning of
True.
Headless Cross. I think that would be cool. But yeah, but definitely Scarlet Pimpernel is like in the middle to the end
Yeah.
of the album. It just comes out of nowhere, and it was not on the Ray Gillan version. So that was something
True.
they added later.
True. Yeah.
I don't know where that came from. So yeah, yeah. Anyways, that was Eternal Idol, one of my favorite Sabbath albums. I really like it. I would probably rank it like maybe top 6 or 7. It doesn't crack the
Wow.
top
Okay.
5, but I
Okay.
really like this album. I'm a really big fan of the non-Aussie
Same
Black
here.
Sabbath. I really like the Aussie era. I love it so much, but I think the Dio era is superior. Like it's like two different bands. Like
Definitely.
it's not similar at all. And I think even the Dio era to like the Gillan and then the Tony Martin and Glenn Hughes, I think all of them are like different bands. The only common
Exactly.
denominator is that it has Tony
Yeah.
Iommi,
Yeah.
sorry,
Yomi.
Tony
Yeah.
Iommi on guitar. So yeah, where would you rank this album in the catalog if you had to?
I mean, there are certain things that I don't like that make it lose a bit of value. First of all, I'm not a big fan of the cover. Um,
I like it. I think it's cool.
okay.
The story of
I'm
the story of this cover is wild.
yeah. Um, I'm not a fan of the sound. I think it's it's not well mixed. I find the guitar sometimes sounds a bit rough, and knowing how of a riff master Tony Iommi is, I don't think it plays in his favor. So I probably would put it maybe 11, 12 on my ranking. Yeah.
I
As
really
I
don't
say,
remember how many albums there are. How many albums are there now again? Or like, I don't know.
You've got 9 with Ozzy, including 13.
Yeah.
You've got 3 with Dio, so you've got 12 there.
One with Gillan, one with
14,
Glenn Hughes,
15,
5 with Tony Martin.
So is it 20?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So 11, 12, you said?
Yeah, 11, 12. Yeah.
That's okay. That's
okay.
pretty good. Like,
yeah, for such
Sabbath,
an extensive
they have
and great catalog.
many great albums. So like even
exactly
cracking the top 10 or just missing out on it, it's really good. So yeah, amazing album. But now we get to your favorite album, and also it's one of my favorites. It's not my number one, but it's definitely top 5. I love this album, and it's of course Headless Cross. Amazing album. The first time I heard it, basically, I got introduced to the Tony Martin era when the Anno Domini box set released. And basically all these albums are from except Eternal Idol, of course, but these albums I'm showing is from the box sets here. So when the box set released, they also released it on streaming services. And that was actually the first time I discovered these albums. So I've been familiar with Tony Martin for over a year, just now. So you probably have lived with these albums for decades, but I'm still very new to them. But I absolutely love them. So, and yeah, so I'm gonna hand it over to you, and you can pick your 2 favorites from this amazing album here.
If I may, because you said something before that was very interesting. I mean, you spoke about Black Sabbath being such a different band with the different eras. And I think it's also very unfair, not in a negative way, that many people who have discovered Black Sabbath in different eras is because of the era they lived in. I mean, imagine both of us would have grown up when Black Sabbath first started. We'd probably be absolutely lovers of the Ozzy Osbourne era.
Yeah, also
exactly. And I think it's not unfair. It's not fair to criticize people if they love, as you said, the Dio era or the Martin era, or even if I'm also a huge fan of Born Again.
Yeah, I love that album.
and I love the cover as well.
Yeah, I also love it. Many people hate it. I love it.
But I think it's cool that Black Sabbath has gotten to so many people because of the wide range of albums that they had and singers. And also, now that you mentioned that the huge surprise is that when you got the box set, you got into the Tony Martin era. I think it was always a crime that none of these albums were on streaming platforms, because it is Black Sabbath. Knowing that Black Sabbath had reunited with Ozzy and everything, and Sharon took a bit of control, but to deny many fans who maybe already knew the Martin era and are not collectors of vinyl or records like we are, not to have that in the comfort of their own phone or anything was a huge mistake. And I'm very happy that people can stream it and people can buy them, because as you said at the beginning, some of the prices of these albums are ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I think they did a
completely
very
inaccessible to so many people for so many years.
Exactly.
And many people just heard Eternal Idol because that was the only album that was available. You could buy it on CD, not really on vinyl, but you could buy it on CD, the deluxe version, pretty cheap, and it was available on streaming. So that was because it was on Warner Brothers. The rest of these albums were on IRS Records. So that's why, and that's also why the Eternal Idol is not included in the box set. It was released separately later. Yeah, so it's really, really strange that these albums
Yeah,
were unavailable for so many years. Like it's absolutely crazy. Like Forbidden, the last album with Tony Martin was released in '95, and that was the last print run of those albums was in
exactly.
'95, and then after that, nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely crazy. So,
Yeah.
but now they're available, and Tony Martin is super happy about it. All the other
He
people
deserves
that
it. He deserves
have
it.
been
Yeah.
looking on Discogs or eBay and looking at the prices for many years and just saying, "Nah, I'm gonna wait. Maybe
That's
they
right.
re-release it someday." Um, all these people are also very happy, and I'm very
Yeah.
happy that I discovered these albums because the way I discover music nowadays is through streaming.
Yeah.
So if I have an artist that I like, maybe two or three albums of like a 15, 20 album discography, I always listen to the albums first, and then I use like the streaming to decide if I'm gonna buy them on
You're gonna
vinyl
buy
or
it. Yeah.
CD or whatever. I think that's very helpful. Back in the days, you couldn't do that, but that's a
No.
luxury we have today. So that's
Exactly.
awesome, and that's the way I do it. And I think the first album I listened to was actually Headless Cross, and I absolutely fell in love with
Mm.
it directly, like instantly. The title track, Headless Cross, was uh, just immediate
Yeah.
uh, love for that track. Love at
True.
first sight.
Yeah.
So, yeah, now we're actually talking about the album.
Yes.
I can start off this time. I just started talking about it. The title track, Headless Cross. That's one of my favorite Black Sabbath songs, like ever. It's probably my top 10 easily.
Okay.
I really, really like that song. The lyrics, the melodies, the guitars, the keyboards. I love keyboards in music. I don't know what
Yeah.
people's
Same.
problem is with keyboards. They say it's too 80s or whatever. I love it. I really, really like the 80s sound, and I embrace it.
Hmm.
Many people say, yeah, these albums sound dated and all that crap, but I like it. I like when
Yeah.
it sounds 80s. You know, it's from that era. So what's wrong with it
Exactly. Yeah.
sounding like it's from that era? Um, so yeah, Headless Cross is my number one pick. It's incredible. It's one of the longer tracks on the album, but it's chef kiss. It's just so good. Another one that I really, really like is Devil and Daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think just from the beginning, the drums with Cozy Powell and then that riff just start. And I love the melody of the riff there. Dun, 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 dun. I think that's just so catchy. And then Tony Martin starts singing, and he just has incredible power
Yeah.
in his vocals. I feel like his voice just opened up and really grew from Eternal Idol to Headless Cross. It's a
True.
massive change.
Huge.
And yeah, I think he sounds incredible on this album and the follow up too.
Yeah.
Like, incredible. So, those are my two picks. What are yours?
Um, I'm gonna go for number one, which is quite easy for me. Is Kill in the Spirit World. I
Okay.
absolutely love that track. It starts very upbeat, full of energy. There's a lot of bass. There's great drumming. The vocals are excellent, and then it fades into this doomy, mystical interlude in the middle, um, with a very passionate solo from Naomi. He's not considered a great soloist, but I just find it's so emotional. And then when Tony Martin just screams "kill in the spirit world" and holds a note, I always, when I'm at home, I turn up the volume to the max, blow the
Yeah,
speakers with that, because that is his peak as a vocalist for me.
yeah,
Showing he's finally feels comfortable in the band,
yeah,
and he can show his full potential, and he does it with that song. I love singers. I'm a frustrated singer myself, but this has always been a part of the album that really gives me goosebumps of how well he executes that scream, and the lyrics. So Kill in the Spirit World is by far my favorite track on the album.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is
One
not a song I would pick, but I love the whole album. So
Yeah.
no disrespect to that song at all, but I think it's a little too not poppy, but you get what I
It
mean.
is.
It's
It
like,
has a bit.
but
Yeah, yeah,
it's nothing wrong to have a track that's really catchy. It's super
yeah.
catchy, but I think like the pre-chorus and all that, I think it's a little too, and the verses, I think it's a little too like light, if I could say
Yeah, it
that.
is. It is. Yeah, yeah,
Um, but I like it. But I wouldn't pick it as my favorite. But that's cool. We can
yeah.
agree to disagree. And that's
Exactly.
the fun part. If
Yeah,
we just had the same picks, it wouldn't be fun. So yeah. So
exactly.
that's your number one. What's your number two?
Well, so number two is going to be boring. It's Headless Cross. I absolutely love as well the elements that you highlighted. I mean, Causey's drumming on that. The riff is spectacular. The vocals are on point. It's it shows once again a new storytelling dimension by Black Sabbath. It's more mystical. You get back into a bit of Satanism as well, and I think it's just such a great song that should have survived the Tony Martin era. If
Mm.
for example, if Dio would have continued to be the singer of Black Sabbath, I would have loved to see him sing that song because he could totally do it. But yeah, it's just great song to be the single, to be the title track. It has so many elements that just engage you with the music. So yeah, it's a number two easy pick for me.
Yeah, that's really interesting that you said if Dio continued, which he kind of did with the Heaven and Hell band. That's basically Black Sabbath.
Yeah,
But that would have been really cool to see Headless Cross being performed by other singers.
yeah,
Because I think Headless Cross had the potential to be the new Heaven and Hell. Heaven and Hell
yes,
was always the kind of track, that epic, amazing, cool track that was always performed by Ronnie and the singers that came after him. It was always in the set. So maybe not always, but very, very often it was in the
yes,
set. And so I think if other singers would have come after Tony Martin, it could have been really cool to see Headless Cross get the
exactly.
same respect and the same treatment as Heaven and Hell got all those
Yeah,
years. So yeah. So now let's get to my least favorite on this album, and that's really hard to choose. I just
very
love
hard.
this album. As I said, probably top five Sabbath for me. So it's really difficult to choose a least favorite. But if I had to choose one, and I'm not going to choose the Gates of Hell because that's cheating. That's not even a song; it's just an intro. I'll have to choose. Ooh, maybe. Oh, I'm almost regretting my choice here. Um, Black Moon.
Okay.
Black Moon, I would choose. Um, I really like the version on the Eternal Idol, the
Yeah.
extra track, the original version of Black Moon. I really like it on this. I prefer it on Headless Cross, but it's still not my favorite track on that album. But as I said before, I love all the tracks, so being my least favorite doesn't really say that much.
Mm,
So yeah, I think it's very catchy. This whole album, I say that all the time now, but this album is really catchy. There's so many hooks,
yeah.
and yeah, and I think that's something that was really missing during the Aussie era of the band. There wasn't many songs that were super catchy like these ones. Of
True.
course, you had Iron Man and stuff like that that people could sing along to, War Pigs, but these hooks that are on these albums, especially this one, are amazing.
Yeah,
So
100%
I
agree.
really like Black Moon, but it's still my least favorite. So it is what it is. What's yours?
That's a really hard question.
Yeah,
Being
I know.
one of my favorite albums, and the fact that you already told us that we couldn't put Gates of Hell as least favorite. It's I would have to. I'll probably regret this as well. I mean,
Yeah, I'm probably gonna regret mine too. So it's fine.
yeah, maybe Call of the Wild. I
That was
mean,
one I thought about too.
yeah, I mean, I love it, but if a choice has to be made, then it's that one. It's also, yeah, I mean, it's a great song. It's catchy. It's more 80s. It's not as dark. It has some of the keyboards in there, but it's not a song that I'll usually go back to on the album.
Yeah,
Uh,
same for
so
me.
that's the reason. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that could have been my pick too.
yeah,
I just chose Black Moon, but maybe tomorrow it would be Call of the Wild. But still love that track. I think
yeah,
the chorus when he sings "It's the Call of the Wild" is just screams it out, and it
yeah,
sounds amazing. Uh, Tony Martin's tone on this album and also TYR, I think it's very similar in those two
yeah.
albums. It, simply incredible. I think Tony Martin technically is probably the best singer Sabbath ever had,
Yeah, I
in my
agree.
opinion.
Yeah,
Incredible. I love Ronnie to death. Like he's my favorite singer of all time, Ronnie James
mm,
Dio, no doubt about that. And he's really a technical singer. But Tony Martin is, when it comes to the higher frequencies, the up end, and that screaming, I think Tony Martin does that with ease.
yeah.
So he's incredible. So yeah, now for an honorable mention, I would probably say Nightwing. I love that acoustic intro, and you have the bass in the background, and then the first line Tony Martin sings, "Nightwing has stirred and taken to flight," is just so good of an entrance vocally, incredible. Then when he sings "Nightwing flies again," it just goes up so high. It's absolutely incredible and a great way to finish off the album. Yeah, really like Nightwing. So incredible track, really incredible. What's your honorable mention?
I just wanted to add what you said, which I found very interesting about Tony Martin being one of the best singers of Black Sabbath. I think I agree with you on there. It's just a bit sad to see that the level was only there on two albums. That it was
I agree.
Headless Cross and Tear. And then you don't get this outstanding vocal performance on Cross Purposes nor
No.
on Forbidden. Um, if I compare Dio to Heaven and Hell, Mob Rules, and then I hear him on The Humanizer and then what he did on Heaven and Hell, I still feel that even though he's older, he still has it. And I think Dio aged very well in time. Tony Martin didn't. I listened to his solo album in 2005, which was Scream, and there wasn't that much power. There wasn't much of this high notes anymore. And then there was another album he put out recently, and it was
Thorns.
vocally it did. Yeah, it did Thorns exactly. It didn't do
Yeah,
much for me. So
yeah,
I think I agree with what you said at the beginning, but it was not a good wine. He didn't age well.
yeah,
Uh, and going back now to the hidden gem, it's obvious. It's the same pick. It's Nightwing for me.
yeah.
It's very rare that albums, in my opinion, end on a very high note. Um,
Okay.
most of the time, many albums I feel have a lot of fillers on the last song. There's not many albums that I absolutely love that end with one of the most amazing songs or hidden gems. Uh, it's very difficult to pick two. I would have put also Nightwing as one of my top tracks. As you said, the vocal performance is phenomenal. The same part that you said when he just belts those last phrases at the end and holds those notes, it's spectacular. Instrument, the instruments executed on each part of the song are amazing. It's mystical, it's dark, but at the same time, it's very energetic. And I think it's a great way to close the album. I think it's the best song that closes an album in the Martin era. So yeah, completely agree with you on this one.
I would probably say, for me personally, I would probably say Eternal Idol is my favorite closer
Okay,
of
okay.
the Tony Martin era. I think Eternal Idol is just so moody in the beginning, and it's just really like mystical and creepy, and I really like the track. But I agree with you also. Nightwing for this album was a
Yeah.
perfect closer. I couldn't imagine like Kill in the Spirit World being
No,
like
no.
the last track, or even when that calls, because that's really epic. That's a
Yeah,
really
yeah.
cool track maybe to end on. But Black Moon could have also ended, but I think Nightwing was perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But it's interesting what you said about Tony Martin compared to Dio, because being my favorite singer of all time, Dio, I even though I think Tony Martin technically was really incredible, I still prefer Heaven and Hell and Mob Rules to all these Tony Martin albums. Like Heaven and Hell, Mob Rules, probably number 1 and 2 on my top
Oh,
Black Sabbath.
okay.
I love the Dio era. I love Dehumanizer too. I have it up there on the shelf
Yeah,
there,
I see.
the
Yeah.
vinyl copy. Do you have an original of that?
I have an original. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. Really cool.
Yeah.
Even the reissue is kind of expensive. But,
Is
yeah,
it
anyway.
the double version
Yes,
that you
that's
have?
the double
Ah,
with the
okay.
live
Okay.
stuff and the B-sides and single
Ah,
mix
nice.
and
Okay.
all that. Yeah, it's really cool. But it's still expensive. That was like $60 or something. So, but I
Okay.
know the original is way more expensive than that.
Yeah, it cost me around 150.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty normal for the original press.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah. Anyways, so I think Dio really aged like a fine wine.
Yeah.
Like his voice, it he didn't have the highs that he had back in the day, but he had like this growly kind of quality to his voice in the later years that I really appreciated and really liked. And I'm a huge Dio fan of the Dio band. Going way off topic here, but
It's okay. It's okay.
I love Strange Highways. That's one of my favorite albums. Killing the Dragon, Magica. Absolutely love those albums. That would be cool to do a show on Dio maybe someday. Who knows?
Yeah, no problem.
But yeah, I think his voice sounded good from Elf all the way to Heaven and Hell, the Devil You Know. His
Yes.
voice never sounded bad. It never you sounded like he didn't have his power uh, left. He always sounded good. Tony Martin, he sounded really good on Eternal Idol, incredible on Headless Tier, and then it just went downhill.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with what you said. Headless Tier are top tier Tony Martin. The
Yes.
rest of it, it's good, but
It's good. Yeah, yeah.
he was never the same. And that's the same with Ian Gillan. He was never the same after Born Again and after the recording of the album and the tour. He never sounded the same again. Like all those screeches and screams and all that, it really took a toll on
I
on
think
his
so. Yeah, yeah.
voice. Yeah, and that's the same for Tony Martin going like super high, like he does on these albums we've talked about. While Ronnie never really did that. He had more control, and he knew his limits. Let's just say that. So yeah. Now let's move on to the last album of the day, and it's TYR, or however you pronounce it. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it over to you to start off with your 2 favorite tracks, and yeah.
So just as a little funny story, this was the first Tony Martin album that I heard.
Yeah, you wrote it to me on
and I heard it at the same time as Dehumanizer. So I got two different Sabbaths in one day from a friend, and I couldn't believe
after one another.
Yeah, and I couldn't believe it was the same band, because all I knew of Sabbath was Ozzy. I knew Dio had been there, but this was a complete surprise, and I absolutely loved TYR. Not as much as I love Headless Cross. It's a huge album, and I would say right away, from the moment I heard it until I hear it again today or any other day, my all-time favorite track will be Valhalla.
Okay.
Yeah, I think how that starts as well, in the halls of Valhalla, and it just screams it, and the riff and everything is just amazing. I was just like, who is this singer? At the time when I was listening to this album, it reminded me a bit of another singer. I don't know if you know him. He's an American singer called Johnny Joeli. He's the singer for Axel Rudipel, and he sang in a beginning of the '90s band, Hardline, with Neil Schon from Journey. He's a very raspy vocalist. Sometimes he can hit some very operatic notes, and it just sounded like him. And I'm like, this is Johnny Joeli. And he's like, no, this is, my friend was telling me, this is Tony Martin. And I was like, wow, what a singer. It's the song that grabs you from the beginning, and it doesn't let you go, because the riff is just, it gives you no quarter. And as I say, just how it starts, it's just so powerful. So Valhalla is number one for me.
Yeah.
Then it gets a bit difficult.
Yeah. Here. I think like it's super high energy, and it really captures your attention. I like that track. It's not one of my favorites, but what do you think of the kind of intro? It's kind of its own song, Odin's Court, because it's like 2:40 long. But I kind of see it as an intro to Valhalla because it goes directly into it. What do you think of that song?
I mean, I'm just going to jump to something very important about this album. The fact that the Battle of Tyr and Odin's Court are on that loses a bit of points for me. I see them as fillers, and the problem is that when I had Tyr the first time, I didn't have the original album. I had it on a CDR, and it was recorded with the 2-second thing, so it would be a pause of Odin's Court, and then Valhalla would come in, so it'd be like, here he should be screaming.
It would be like 2 separate.
Yeah. It was terrible. But I don't like that these 2 tracks are there. I think maybe Valhalla should have had a bit of Odin's Court still in it, and then start.
Yeah, I agree.
But I'm not. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of those 2 instrumentals. I think they're fillers. Yeah.
Yeah. Like they're not both instrumentals. Like there's some vocals in Odin's Court.
True. Yeah. You're right.
I almost got that myself, because I re-listened to the album and I'm like, oh, there's vocals on this one.
You're right. Yeah.
So yeah, I think Tony sounds good on Odin's Court. It's kind of moody. It's very quiet in the beginning.
Yeah.
He has like kind of a not whispery voice, but very quiet, very calm, and then it goes into Valhalla and it's like bang. Yeah, with all the power. I like Odin's Court. I think it's cool, but I agree with you. The Battle of Tyr is filler. It's the same to me with like Scarlet Pimpernel and maybe a little bit of Gates of Hell. Gates of Hell is
Sure.
cool to introduce Headless Cross, but I think Battle of Tyr, it's totally unnecessary because it's like an intro that goes into an intro.
Exactly.
If you choose to see Odin's Court as an intro, of course, I kind of see it as an intro, but
Yeah, you're
it's
right.
maybe too long for an intro, anyways. So, but yeah, Battle of Tyr is totally unnecessary. So
we can say
your
right
topic
away
was
that
what do you say?
it's our least favorite song. We can agree on that
Yeah,
already.
I think that's kind of cheating.
Okay.
You could probably choose Odin's Court because it has vocals and it's a real
Okay.
song. Battle of Tyr is more like an intro. So
Okay.
when we say least favorites, you can absolutely choose Odin's Court.
No, then
But,
I'll choose something else. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's cool.
Second favorite. I'm a bit torn, but yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go for Anumundi. I think it's a great opener. I love the vocalizing in Latin.
Oh, so cool.
It's a great riff as well. It's very powerful. It's also a very deep song, deep layered song. I think it's also a great opener to showcase once again his vocals. Yeah, and I just love the drumming and guitar work. I think it's a standout track as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm totally agree with you. I'm gonna continue with Anomondi because that's my favorite Tony Martin era song. That's number one for me. I absolutely love it. The first time I heard Tear and I heard that track, first track on the album, I was blown away. I thought, oh my god, this is probably gonna be my new favorite album. It wasn't. The rest of it is really good. I really like it, but nothing lives up to the intro, I feel. Or intro, the first track. Anomonde, I think his vocals when he says no, 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 and he like goes up super high and incredible. And also the Latin at the beginning is like kind of creepy and all that.
True.
And, I like Tony Martin's more gentle side of his voice in the beginning of the song. I think it's really cool. It's very atmospheric and yeah, it kind of builds up slowly and then the hammer just goes down like this. So yeah, Anno Monday is super cool. I love Tony's riff on this one. It's just good, nice driving riff.
Yeah.
Really incredible. Anno Monday, my favorite Tony Martin track. Absolutely. My second favorite would probably be the Sabbath Stones. Like I chose the two epics on this album.
Yes, you did.
If you can call them that. Sabbath Stone, it just goes right in. Dun, dun. It's like super aggressive. And also, as I said before, I like his more gentle and quiet focus. Like when he goes fire, water, and all that wind and rain. Super cool. And then he goes up in his range and then he goes down. So it goes kind of up and down in the beginning of the song. I really like that part. And then it goes all those years and just bam, it goes. So Sabbath Stones, incredible song. Love it. My favorite band of all time is Pink Floyd.
Okay.
And I love long songs. They have these super long, like 15, 20-minute songs. Now, this is not that long at all. It's like 6 or 7 minutes.
Yeah.
But I love longer songs. I don't have a problem with something being repetitive or anything like that. I don't think this one is. But I like the more epic, long, drawn out songs. And Sabbath Stones is definitely one of those. And I absolutely love it. So incredible album. So now for your least favorites.
If you would have asked me this when I first heard the album, I would have probably said the Sabbath Stones. Yeah.
Okay.
At the time, I wasn't into darker pieces of music. I needed something more energetic, more melodic, things like that. But I've learned to like it. And I agree with
Okay.
the points that you said of these changes in the voice and the tone. And I could be one of the darkest Tony Martin era songs.
Yeah, yeah.
But since I now like it, I would say The Lawmaker. The Lawmaker is a track,
Really?
yeah,
I love that track.
that is way too fast. I feel that this is my impression that it was just written fast as well, and it was just
Yeah.
uh, put it in there just to make a nice transition after Anu Mundi, which is very mid tempo, very DOS, you know, and it's not a song that I can enjoy. It actually even stresses me how fast it is.
Okay.
So it's definitely a song that, yeah, I'm gonna say it. I skip it when I listen to it on my phone or on CD. On vinyl, I never skip anything.
You can't be
So
bothered to
no,
listen
you
it
can't be
over.
bothered. Yeah, but yeah, it's definitely my least favorite.
Yeah, okay. I really like The Lawmaker. I think I like how fast it is.
Okay.
Maybe it's because I'm young. I like fast driving, heavy music. I really like The Lawmaker. Yeah, I think the riff is cool. Tony Martin's voice, incredible as always. So yeah, I really like it. I think it's cool.
Okay.
My least favorite. This was the most easy pick of
Okay.
them all. Feels good to me.
I thought you were gonna say that. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's many people's least favorite track when it comes to this album. I think that video, if you've seen the video, is really
Yeah.
stupid with
It's
the
bad.
girl on the bike and all that. It's not like Sabbathy at all.
No.
The
No.
sound and the lyrics is like the worst part of it. Um, I think the chorus when you go, it feels good to me. Uh, it doesn't have the hooks that it
Yeah.
had on Endless Cross. I don't feel like it really goes anywhere. It's just like the same thing all over again.
True.
Yeah, I don't like that track at all. That's probably the worst Tony Martin era song, even worse than anything on Cross Purposes and Forbidden.
No. Wow. Okay.
Yes, yes,
Wow.
yeah.
That's a huge
That's
statement.
taking it far, but I stand by it.
I would have to say illusion of power, but
Ice-T, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
I just feel that
Yeah,
his
I would probably
vocals.
have to agree. I almost
Yeah.
forgot about that track. Illusion of Power, then feels good to me. Yeah.
No, I would say feels good to me. The thing that saves it for me is I think his vocal performance is very good. Um, I understand it also doesn't really, just like for me, the Lawmaker doesn't fit in. Also feel good to me doesn't fit that in as well. Maybe unnecessary, but it was a time of a lot of power ballads in the '90s, beginning of the '90s. So I think maybe they took a risk and said, yeah, why not? Black Sabbath can do this as
Yeah.
well. It was a single as well, as we know, not the best result.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see completely your point.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think for the lyrics alone, it's probably bottom tier easily.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just terrible. It's not Sabbath at all.
No,
I compare this to the album Geezer Butler wrote during the Aussie era and the like mystical, magical lyrics with Ronnie James Dio and the really weird lyrics with Ian Gillan and all that. Um, I think this just sticks out too much.
true.
And I think they went too far with this one.
Yeah,
So yeah, I don't like this one at all. So what's your honorable mention on tier?
Jerusalem. It's I absolutely love the drumming on this track. It's Cozy Powell all over the place. It's his signature beat. Um, it also has a powerful melody. I like how he sings on this, how he executes it. Great riff. I think it's sorry, Cozy Powell's highlight moment. I think
Yeah.
it's the best thing. And what I like so much about it is that I can take that song, and then when I listen to Yngwie Malmsteen's Facing the Animal album, which Cozy's also on it, I feel many of the patterns from that song are on that album. That's what I really like about Cozy. He was such a great drummer, and I think this was his song to shine on the album. That's why I love this song so much.
Yeah, my honorable mention would probably be the same, but
Okay.
not to repeat what you just
Yeah.
said. I'm actually gonna choose Heaven in Black.
Okay.
The last track on this album, I like it. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I think like Tony Martin just goes for it in the chorus. I like the riff. It's kind of fast. This one also. I don't know if you like it. You didn't like the Lawmaker because it's kind of fast. What do you
Yeah.
think about this one?
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, it's not the best track, but it's a good track.
yeah, it's cool. Yeah. So now we've talked about Eternal Idol, Headless Cross, and Tear, of our favorites, least favorites, and honorable mentions. This was really cool, really nice.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
went well.
Definitely. Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining me. This was really
No,
cool.
thanks for the invite. Yeah.
This is really nice for me to venture into like this new territory. I haven't done anything like this before
Okay.
on my channel. I don't know if you checked out my channel before, but I mostly do like unboxing videos and all that
Yeah.
stuff. So, and sometimes I do voiceover to do like a mini review while I unbox it, talk about the quality of the packaging and sound quality and all that. So this is really cool to have
Yeah. It was
a
really
new
cool.
format and to have a really cool guest like you. Like
No, thank you.
you're very much respected as far as I've seen in the Ghost community. You have an amazing
Hopefully.
collection and all
Thank
that.
you.
So that's really cool.
Thanks.
So yeah,